You know that moment. You're sitting with a friend's dog, petting it, talking to it, telling it it's a good boy, and somewhere across the room, your own dog is just watching. Not barking, just sitting very still, eyes on you, completely silent. And then you look up, and something about that stare goes straight through you. Most of us laugh it off. Oh, he's jealous. But what if it's not casual? What if what's happening inside your dog in that moment is far more complicated, far more human, and far more surprising than anyone was willing to admit for a very long time? We're going to come back to that stare. But first I need to tell you about a stuffed dog, a pumpkin bucket, and a finding that changed how scientists think about animal emotion entirely. For most of scientific history, the answer was simple. Dogs don't feel jealousy. They can't. Jealousy is a complex social emotion. It requires self-awareness, the ability to understand a relationship, and the capacity to feel threatened by someone else getting what you want. That's higher cognition. Dogs were not believed to have it. Even Charles Darwin disagreed with that view. In 1872, he wrote that dogs absolutely experience jealousy. He described it plainly, watching his own dogs. But Darwin's observation wasn't enough. You can't publish a feeling. You need an experiment. And for over a century, nobody ran one. The question just sat there. Dog owners reporting jealousy constantly. Scientists dismissing it constantly. A complete standoff. Until 2014, when a researcher at UC San Diego decided to settle it, using one of the strangest experimental setups you'll ever hear about. Professor Christine Harris at UC San Diego had 3 border collies of her own. She watched them act jealous for years. She was a jealousy researcher. She'd spent her career studying it in humans. And she thought, if jealousy exists to protect important social bonds, then it shouldn't only exist in humans. It should exist in any species where social bonds matter for survival. So she designed a test. She took 36 dogs into their own homes. Important because she wanted them comfortable, not stressed. Then she asked each owner to do 3 things while ignoring their dog completely. First, interact lovingly with a realistic stuffed dog that barked, wagged, and whined. Second, interact the same way with a jack-o'-lantern Halloween bucket. Third, read a children's book out loud. 2 independent raters watched the footage and coded every behavior. Snapping, pushing between the owner and the object, touching, whining, getting in the way. The result, when owners fussed over the stuffed dog, 78% of real dogs pushed or touched their owner to interrupt it. When owners fussed over the bucket, just 42%. When owners simply read a book, 22%. The dogs weren't reacting to being ignored. They reacted specifically when something that looked like a social rival was getting their person's affection. They were trying to break up the connection. Not randomly, not out of boredom. They were targeting the relationship. Harris published it in PLOS 1, peer-reviewed. And she wrote something that I think matters more than the numbers. These results suggest that jealousy may have a primordial form, one that evolved to protect social bonds, not just in humans, but across species. Now, here's where it gets genuinely strange. And this is the study I keep coming back to, because what it implies about your dog's mind is something most people aren't ready for. In 2021, psychologist Amalia Bastos at the University of Auckland wanted to push the research further. The 2014 study showed dogs feel jealousy, but Bastos asked a different question. Do they need to see the rival? Or can they imagine it? In humans, jealousy can be triggered by imagination alone. You can feel jealous about something happening right now in a different room that you cannot see. That requires mental representation, the ability to hold a situation in your mind even when it's not in front of you. Her setup, 18 dogs watched their owner interact affectionately with a realistic fake dog. Then a barrier went up, blocking the fake dog from view. The owner continued acting as if petting and talking to it, but was actually stroking a fleece shelf. The dog couldn't see the rival, but it could hear its owner's voice. It knew the rival had been there. The dogs pulled significantly harder on their leads toward the hidden fake dog than toward a hidden neutral cylinder. They were reacting to something they couldn't see, something they were imagining. Bastos wrote, "This provides the first evidence that dogs can mentally represent jealousy-inducing social interactions." In plain language, your dog doesn't need to watch you pet another dog to feel the sting of it. They just need to know it might be happening. But what's actually happening inside a dog's brain when this occurs? Because behavior tells you what a dog does. It doesn't tell you what they feel. That's where neuroscience comes in. A team of researchers studied awake, unrestrained dogs using fMRI brain imaging, the same technology used to scan human brains. They looked specifically at the amygdala, the brain's emotional processing center, the same region that activates in humans during jealousy, fear, and social threat. What they found? When dogs were exposed to jealousy-inducing situations, amygdala activity increased significantly, and the pattern of activation closely resembled what happens in a human brain during jealousy. This is the moment the science stopped being about behavior and became about biology. It's not that dogs act jealous, it's that their brain, in the same ancient region we use to process social threat, is doing something measurably similar to what ours does when we feel it too. The amygdala is one of the oldest parts of the brain. It didn't evolve in humans. It evolved long before us. And it turns out, it carries jealousy with it. Your dog's jealousy isn't a quirk. It's something ancient they share with you. And then 2025 happened. And this is the part nobody expected. A team led by Judith Abdai at LT University in Budapest ran a new study, published in Scientific Reports in January 2025. They wanted to know, does the rival have to be a real dog, or just something that behaves like one? They introduced dogs to a robot. Sometimes the robot moved mechanically, stiff, obviously artificial. Sometimes it moved in smooth, lifelike, animate motions. And then it interacted with the owner. Dogs showed significantly more jealous behaviors toward the robot when it moved and interacted like a living thing, snapping, vocalizing, trying to interrupt. What that tells us is both fascinating and slightly unsettling. Your dog isn't jealous of the other dog specifically. They're jealous of anything that enters the social relationship between you and them and starts behaving like it belongs there. The robot, the stuffed toy, the other dog at the park. To your dog, these are all the same threat, something that might take you away. Back to that silent stare. When your dog watches you pet another dog, they aren't just looking. Deep inside their brain, the amygdala is firing. It's the exact same ancient alarm system that triggers in you when a relationship feels threatened. That jealous look is real, neurological proof of your bond. You matter so much to them that the mere threat of losing your attention sets off an emotional alarm. So next time your dog does that thing, you don't have to guess anymore. Does your dog do the stare, the nudge, or block you from other pups? Drop your story below. I read every comment. Tell me, is it real jealousy or something else entirely? Let's talk in the comments.